I'm about to share with you a trick that you see a lot of professional mix engineers use to make vocals pop out of the mix. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Do you find that in your mixes you have a hard time getting your vocals to kind of sit on top of the mix, or they kind of get lost in translation? Well, I'm gonna share with you a tip that I love to use on tracks and that you'll see a lot of professional mix engineers use, and that might solve that problem. I promise this will enhance the quality of your vocals in your mix, guaranteed. And before we hop over to the computer and I show you what that is, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, it helps the channel grow a ton. All right, now let's hop over to the computer. All right, so what is the trick that helps your vocals stand out in your mix like a professional mix engineer? It is sidechaining your vocals to your vocal processing. Now what that means is sidechaining your vocals to your reverb and your delay and things like that, so that those effects dip out of the way when your vocals are being sang. That can help just kind of clean up your mix that little bit more, but it doesn't take the reverb completely away. It just dips it a little bit and then it can fill in the gaps when there are no vocals. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This track is from my band Elephant Gun Riot. The song is Seeing Red, and I'm gonna be showing you how to do this with just reverb. So the first thing you wanna do is you want to make an effects track. And if you don't do that already, I highly suggest that is how you set up your projects. It can help save a lot of CPU power and just kind of streamline a lot of things. I've done other videos on what that is and how to do it. So anyway, I made an effects track. It is just a reverb, and I'm gonna send the vocals to that. So I wanna send the vocals to the reverb, turn them on. Let's just boost them so you can really hear. So these vocals are from the group bus on the project, and just with no reverb or delay. So it's been EQ'd and compressed. So this is what they sound like with a lot of reverb right now.
I heard the voices.
It's a lot, right? Now you would never do that. You'd have it somewhere in that neck of the woods to have it sound normal. So now what you want to do though, let's say you really want those vocals to stand on top of themselves and the mix. We want to sidechain, and to do that you want to go to the reverb channel, the effects track, and you want to toss a compressor on it. And for this example, I'm going to be just using the Cubase compressor. Now what you want to do is you want to turn on your sidechain right here. Now, if you go back up to your vocal track, you got to send something to this compressor to tell it when to dip. So if you have your sidechain clicked on, you can see it right here. And if I had a bunch of different compressors loaded up, it would have a bunch of different compressors that I could sidechain to. But if you take this off, you go here to send it to it, you don't have that option. So you gotta make sure sidechain is on when you do this. So then the next step is to then send the vocals to this compressor. So now this vocal track is telling this compressor when to dip, and this compressor is controlling the reverb. So I'll start with an extreme example and I'll dial it back and show you how it works. So I'm gonna just crank up the reverb and let it play, and you'll see what's going on here with the reduction on the compressor.
I heard the voices, I let them in.
Right, so way too much reverb, sounds awful. But now let me show you when you bring it down the other direction, extreme, you'll hear the reverb really drop when the vocals are on, but when the vocals go away, the reverb swells back in to kind of fill those gaps. Another thing I can do is the release down here. Also gonna shorten that up. So here's an extreme setting.
Let them sink under my skin, and it shows getting lost.
So you can hear right there, vocals went away, reverb came swelling back in dramatically. 26 dB in reduction. So let me drop this back down. I'll go minus 10 dB, setting to the reverb. So now it's in more of a normal range of what you'd have on a vocal track with reverb. And I'm gonna do the same thing. You can kind of hear the gaps a little more tamely.
I heard the voices, I let them in. Let them sink under my skin, and it shows getting lost.
And of course you have all your normal settings down your compressor. You can turn your makeup off. You can change your attack, your hold, things like that. For me, I usually try to aim between 5 and 10 dB of reduction on reverb on the vocals, depending. I might change the knee and the ratio, things like that.
Let them sink under my skin, and it shows getting lost.
So there's still reverb on the vocals, but they just dip to kind of get out of the way so those frequencies of the compressor aren't fighting with the other elements in the mix. This is really handy for me when I'm doing hard rock tracks when there's a lot of things going on, a lot of dynamic and a lot of volume. It just helps the vocals kind of sit on top of themselves and everything else. So this is a tip that I would highly suggest that you do, but also it is something you can do on other instruments as well. So if your brain can think of it, what might help your mix when it comes to sidechaining, I highly recommend looking at it. You can sidechain so many things, and in some situations it can really help fix a mix a lot if you have things competing with themselves. Another popular one to do is your kick drum with your bass or your sub bass, so they kind of dip out of the way so you don't have all that low end frequency fighting together. But anyway, this example is strictly for vocals with a reverb and how you can kind of help those vocals sit on top of the mix. So there you go. That is how you can sidechain your vocal reverb to help your vocals stand out just that little bit more in the mix. And trust me, once you do this, you will not go back. It really makes a big difference. And once you understand the concept behind it, you totally understand why this is just the way a lot of mix engineers operate. All right, well, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow a ton, and I really appreciate it. Until next time, see you later.